What would happen if an experienced German pilot were suddenly asked to fly an enemy aircraft, only to realize that the plane handled better than any German aircraft he'd ever flown? Imagine the look on his face when every control felt foreign, yet the performance made his heart race. This is the story of the German pilots who couldn't believe that a captured enemy plane could outshine their own Luftwaffe machines. Hello, WW2 pilot enthusiasts. Welcome back to our channel, where we uncover the most incredible aviation stories from World War II. Today's episode is about a rare and fascinating event. German pilots, who normally flew MiG 109s and FW 190s, were given the chance to test fly a captured North American P-51 Mustang. And what they discovered completely changed the way they viewed enemy aircraft. Picture yourself inside the cockpit of an enemy machine. Every lever, every gauge, every vibration feels unfamiliar. Yet when you push the throttle forward, the power response is astonishingly smooth, almost elegant. How did the German pilots react? What did they learn from this experience? And could they actually use the Mustang in a real mission? Before we dive in, comment below. Where are you watching from? May peace and history unite us all, from Berlin to Jakarta, from London to New York. Now, let's take off together into the skies of World War II. In the early years of World War II, the Luftwaffe ruled the skies. Their pilots were elite, disciplined, confident, and flying some of the finest machines ever built, like the Messerschmitt Bf 109 and Focke-Wulf FW 190. They knew their aircraft inside and out, swift, agile, and brutally efficient. But as the war progressed, the Allies began to dominate the air. Occasionally, Allied fighters were shot down or forced to land behind enemy lines. From the wreckage came opportunity, aircraft that could be repaired and studied. That's how the Luftwaffe's secret evaluation unit, Zirkus Rosarius, was born, nicknamed the Wander Circus. Their job? Recover captured enemy aircraft, repair them, and test fly them to uncover their strengths and weaknesses. Among their most prized captures, the North American P-51 Mustang. Although a symbol of Allied air power, several Mustangs were captured intact enough to be restored and flown by German test pilots. These pilots, already aces of the Luftwaffe, were hand-picked to climb into a foreign cockpit filled with unfamiliar instruments, gauges, and controls. What they found in the air would astonish even the most experienced of them. When the captured Mustang was rolled into the hangar, a mix of awe and tension filled the air. The Luftwaffe mechanics had repainted it in German markings with black crosses and yellow undersides to prevent friendly fire during flight tests. But the question remained, could anyone actually fly it safely? Every control was different. The throttle response, the propeller pitch, the fuel mixture, everything defied their training. The pilot assigned to the first test looked at the unfamiliar cockpit and muttered, "It feels like sitting inside the mind of my enemy." With hesitation, he began taxiing. The ground crew watched in silence as the Mustang roared down the strip and lifted into the sky. Moments later, through the radio came his voice, steady but uncertain. Controls, extremely sensitive. Engine, smooth, unlike anything I've flown. The conflict wasn't just about machinery, it was internal. Could a German ace admit that the enemy's technology might actually be superior? During subsequent flights, the German test pilots began pushing the Mustang's limits. They discovered its strengths: long range, high altitude performance, and incredibly smooth roll stability. But there were also challenges: its handling in low-speed turns, its heavier feel on the stick, and its complex engine management. At one point,
A test pilot nearly lost control during a sharp turn. The Mustang shuddered, but recovered beautifully, something few Luftwaffe aircraft could do. He returned to base shaken, but also deeply impressed. Reports started circulating inside Zirkus Rosarius. The Mustang is not just fast, it's forgiving. It's built for pilots, not for engineers. Some officers proposed using the captured plane for training Luftwaffe pilots on how to fight against it. Others feared this would only demoralize their men. What if they realize how far behind we've fallen? Then came the moment everyone remembers. A senior Luftwaffe ace, one of Germany's most respected pilots, volunteered for a full combat-style test. He took the Mustang up, diving, rolling, looping, pushing it to its absolute limits. Observers on the ground watched through binoculars as the aircraft sliced through the sky with astonishing grace. Suddenly, over the radio, his voice cracked through the static. Ich hab so etwas nie gefühlt. I have never felt anything like this. Silence followed. Then he continued. This aircraft, it moves as if it thinks with me. For a moment, pride and disbelief collided. A Luftwaffe ace had just admitted that the enemy's machine, an American Mustang, handled better than their own German aircraft. That radio transmission would later become legendary among the test crews. When the pilot landed, he climbed out of the cockpit drenched in sweat, staring at the plane as if it were alive. His comrades surrounded him, half curious, half mocking. He simply said, "You have to fly it to understand." The technical team pored over the flight data: speed, climb rate, fuel efficiency, stability. Their notes confirmed it. The Mustang was superior in high-altitude performance and maneuverability, though it required delicate handling. Meetings were held to decide what to do next. Should they risk using it in combat or keep it as a training tool? The consensus: this aircraft was too valuable and too irreplaceable to risk losing. It became a silent teacher, a ghost among Luftwaffe aircraft, showing pilots what they were truly up against.
In the end, the Luftwaffe command chose not to deploy the Mustang in actual combat. Instead, it remained in Zirkus Rosarius as a demonstration and training tool. German pilots were shown how the Mustang fought, climbed, and turned, so they could learn to counter it. The reports from these tests circulated among fighter units across Europe, helping shape Luftwaffe tactics for the remaining years of the war. Though the Mustang was never flown in German combat missions, its lessons echoed through every dogfight that followed. The pilots who flew it came away with one shared sentiment: respect. They realized that acknowledging your enemy's strengths doesn't make you weak, it makes you wiser. And so ends the forgotten story of the German pilots who flew a captured Mustang and walked away humbled. They didn't just test an aircraft, they tested their pride. It's a timeless reminder: in every rivalry, the greatest victory lies in understanding your opponent. If you enjoyed this story, please leave a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Tell us where you're watching from, and stay tuned for more incredible stories from the skies of World War II. Until next time, keep your wings level and your history alive.